I am going to go. I'm going to go ahead and start recording now. Happy, what is today? Tuesday, August 13th. It was my children's first day of school, so I officially went back to swing trading in a way different way. We are now in August, so the market's going to start picking up. You're going to start seeing these numbers on the side go up. Kind of pay attention to that, guys. You're going to be surprised at how much the market changes. It's not going to consolidate the same way. It's not going to move the same way, and it's actually kind of awesome. Just so you guys know it's coming, and I'm excited. So it is Tuesday night. If you guys have any specific pairs or questions or comments, please let me know. But as of right now, until Pat tells me what he's wanting to do out of his schedules, I'm hoping to now go to Monday nights and give you guys my swing trades that I do. Again, I usually go through about 10 to 14. I literally write them down in a pretty little comp book, and then I'll compare them to news. I'll compare them to, what's most ready, particularly on the 4-hour. I will literally pick 3 or 4 pairs, and I will hold those. Sometimes I will hold them for a week. Sometimes I'll hold them for weeks. And sometimes I will re-enter that same trade, or maybe I got knocked out. So like if, for instance, if this one had hit my take profit and I'm only currently in 3 trades, I would enter a new trade on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. But literally that is all I did to follow the triple arrow system and grow my account from very small hundreds of dollars to multiple 6 figures in a very short amount of time. So that is exactly what I did. I did stack the trades. Moving forward, I'm not going to stack them 4 times because it's just harder to manage. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack them twice, once with a 20% gain, which I know is a lot, but since I'm going for more pips on that compounding sheet, it's really not that huge or a high risk of a lot size. And then once I'm going to do 5%, and that's going to be my runner. So that one will have no trailing stop on it. It'll just kind of be meant to run until it recloses above the 8, or I get a new 8 and 18 crossover. And those are kind of my 2 exit indicators, if you will. Like in this case right here, I wouldn't have exited yet because it wasn't ready yet, but so you guys know. So are there any pairs, questions, or anything you guys want to start with first? Anything at all? Peekaboo. You guys message me questions like crazy, so when I'm on here talking to you, you may as well talk to me.
I don't mind talking to you, Jenny.
Okay, awesome. You talk to me then. I'm just looking at a screen, talking to myself, it's kind of what I do. So.
I still haven't settled on a strategy yet.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know. I think I don't have my patience. I don't want to sit in front of the computer all day. I want to get in, get out. And then I know that, reversals occur, whatever, and I shouldn't sit here and watch it. I guess I should just set it and walk away and check it periodically. And still going through each of the pairs and trying to find something on the 1 hour or the 4 hour. And I'm finding few. So it's been a bit frustrating for me still.
Okay, so do you work full time, or do you have too much time on your hands? Like, not calling you out, but I'm being honest, coming from somebody who doesn't have a day job, and I can tell you I messed up a whole bunch personally.
Yeah, I don't have a day job either. Too much time on my hands, I guess.
So maybe we can talk about a nonprofit or some things you can do. And I promise you, if you stick with the 4-hour chart and enough confirmations, you would be hard pressed to get less than a 70% accuracy. And with a 70% accuracy, literally, as long as your risk to reward ratio is 2 to 1, you will be in profit. You will be compounding exponentially every month. And that's for somebody who doesn't have a boatload of experience. So you can do it, but the odds are you're over trading, you're early exiting, you're early entering, you're re-entering, and then you're just kind of playing around because you see this happening, but you don't really know what it's doing. So you get in, you get out, hit your stop loss, and then you forget about it, and you don't get back in, and you're just kind of playing. But if you can set a schedule for yourself, what time zone do you live in?
Same time as you.
Eastern time.
Yeah.
It's the moneymaker time zone. Unless I want to move to London and I kind of enjoy my American.
Yes, you mentioned the different time frames, 1, 5, 9, but man, it's just, I don't know.
Well, literally, you can check the chart at 5 a.m. or are you an early riser?
I am an early riser.
Okay. Then you can literally create a schedule that looks something like this. I don't know your personal situation, but wake up at 5. And since if we're being honest, most of us are totally addicted to our charts. So go check the charts real quick. It takes you 15 to 30 minutes and then step away. So meditate, do some yoga, take a walk, go, love on your guy if that's your thing. Take a shower, get pretty. You can even run some errands or something, and then 9 a.m. come back and check. And this time you can do more, chart analysis and more active trading. So maybe you stay for about an hour, and then go do some volunteer work or do your chores or run your errands. And then if you choose to trade at the 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone, you can. But that's totally up to you. So, and then you can check one more time before you go to bed at night, because we definitely don't want to enter trades at 5 p.m. for the most part. I mean, because that's just spreads are high, and then you have that Asian pullback. It's either going to blast off an Asian or it's going to pull back an Asian, and either way you're competing with the spread, so it's really not advantageous for you. So
yeah, I don't know. I go on, I check. I don't know. Just haven't been seeing it. I guess, like you say, overthinking, over processing.
okay, so we're looking here. Let's go to I knew a pair I wanted to look at. Now I can't think of it. So looking at odd USD, let's go back to the 4-hour chart. What do you see here? Let me see if I can move this. Here we go. What do you see on this screen?
On the 4, okay, hang on. This thing I'm doing. Okay, what do I see on the 4-hour chart? I see the triple arrows.
Okay.
Right. Yes. I see that the 8 has crossed the 18 above,
yes,
and then it's gone back down. I don't know if it's a retest.
Kind of pulled back, yeah.
Up to back. I see the SR dots, the resistance.
Okay, we have some buy ones here, and we're hitting some resistance here, but yeah.
And down at the bottom, I see that, well, the momentum is pointing up, but the buy is now pointing down of the sell. I don't know that indicator that well, the one that you're looking at.
Okay, let's skip it then. Let's go to the MACD.
And then I see a buy. I see the green is crossed above the sell. And I also see the bar, the white, whatever.
The volume. Okay, not bad. Just so you know, when we're looking at the ADX, guys, we really want momentum to be above 25 bare minimum, but above 40, this is where your money's at. And that's hard to wait. And you'll notice sometimes it is late, okay? So the only exception to me waiting, so instead of entering here where it crosses the 40, as soon as my mouse will catch up, here we go. Okay, the only exception for me waiting right here, which again, I'd still get my 50 pips out of pretty safely, is if, for instance, the MACD had crossed the 0 line. And in this case, the MACD crossed the 0 line back here. So that would have been good enough for me to enter. So yes, in terms of for the MACD, for the ADX, like I was saying, you want the volume to be up, the momentum to be up, above the 25, again, preferably above the 40. But once buyers are in control, we don't care what this green line is doing. We start to care or considering exiting when we see the purple line, the seller's line, point up. So this can kind of does what it wants to do all day long. And we're not going to get concerned when it points down. We're not going to worry when it makes a peak. We're going to start looking at exiting when this starts coming back up and crosses back over. And then I wouldn't even use that honestly as an exit signal. So if I saw this, I would see buyers are in control, kind of black and white level of my buyers are in control and my momentum is above the 25. Not quite where I want it to be. Our Australian dollar is definitely stronger, but it's peaking down. And I really want to see this bust above the 0, because if I want to see the actual move, not the pullback. Again, a lot of people make a lot of money off this pullback. And there's nothing wrong with trading that way. But again, my strength is that I'm consistent, and I'm consistent because I go for the actual move. I don't chase the baby moves. Not to say I don't get stuck in the baby moves sometimes, because I do. I'm human. But I go for the big move. What else I see, again, going to that tried and true mentality, is we have a nice, if it will let me draw one because it's being a silly butt. Oh, that's lagging. We have a nice trend line of a few touches. If it will let me. I know you guys see my mouse moving and not see this red line moving, right?
Right.
So I'm not totally crazy. Let me delete that. Let's try again. Wait for it to catch up. So we have a nice trend line down, and we broke that trend line. And this, if I wanted to keep drawing it through, would be considered like a retest of that trend line. So we broke the trend line, we retested it, and we're looking like we're going to bust out. I do want to see this like either push feverishly above this, or even for the super safe move, wait for this to cross over the 40, or at least get closer to the 40. I'll take that too. It's probably going to have a nice little pullback, probably not a whole bunch of pips, but I see that okay, so if I don't want to take this now, being that there's USD news, and as you guys know, I kind of avoid that news, I might be willing to check this candle in the morning. So I'm not going to be up for the 1 a.m. candle. I will be up for the 5 8. Well, I may be up for the 5 a.m. candle. My schedule needs to get all back on track. But so 2 candles from now, this will still be a buy. And as you guys can see, like once you're in the actual trend, lots of candles from now, this will still be a buy. Again, the news could totally knock that out. It's definitely possible. There's a lot of high impact news coming out. This one doesn't affect the US dollar as much, but there is a bunch of news coming out, right? So this right here looks like, okay, this would go on my watch list. Do I want to take a look at it? And I'd keep an eye on this all week long. Like until I either enter it or cross it off, this is still on my watch list. So I'm still looking at this pair. Granted, I don't prefer all this news. It's a bit too much for me, and I'm pretty sure we can find some better pairs. But that's what I see. Does that help you any?
Yeah, the ADX. So because the volume is pointing up above the 25 and the green is above, it's still pretty much a valid trade if everything.
Yeah, right. It's still valid. The reason why I wouldn't necessarily go heavy in this one is the news. I mean, again, I personally think that most of the time the news just wicks in a certain direction and scares people half to death. But either way, it's going to go with the trend. And right now we're looking at the trend is up. Now, could this be a flag pattern that is kind of with a bigger trend? Absolutely. But if it broke this trend line, like I'm getting out of that sell anyways. Like if it comes down and breaks this, okay, I'm no longer considering this a buy. So the only thing that would make this an ugly trade to me is I really want to see this break over the 0. I don't want that news to be gone. But other than that, it's a good trade.
Okay.
Okay.
5 a.m. Standard Time, 9 a.m. or 1 p.m.
Yes. And let's take a look at, so let's see. This candle right here, the candle we're currently on. Oh, that stinks that my news indicator's on there. But let's do it anyways. Okay. The same concept is this candle that we're currently in. Okay, so we're not at the 9 o'clock candle. So this one right here, there is a candle here. We're going to go here. That's not possible. Am I silly? Maybe there is a candle here and I just can't see it. Let's go to a different pair. Because that would make me wrong. Yeah, okay, I'm wrong. So this one is the 5 o'clock. So 0-100 hours on most MT4s. That's not across the board, guys. Every MT4 actually is a little different. Not everyone, but there are a few specifically. CoinX is infamous for that. So the 4 o'clock candle on MT4 would be 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right?
Oh, okay.
And then the 8 o'clock candle on MT4 would be 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is for the 4-hour chart.
Really? Up to the 4-hour chart, okay.
The 12 o'clock candle MT4 time would be 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
The 1600 candle, is that possible? Hold on. Now I'm going to be all messed up. So this is 5 p.m. This would be 9 p.m. This would be 1 a.m. So the 4 o'clock candle MT4 would be 9 p.m. The 8 o'clock candle MT4 time is 1 a.m. The 12 o'clock candle MT4 time is 5 a.m. And then so that was 12 o'clock. So the 1600 candle MT4 time is 9 a.m. and then 1 p.m. and so on. I can do that much way better on the 1-hour chart. Sorry guys, now I'm super messing up.
Okay, okay.
But by knowing that, you can kind of go back and you can kind of see what's happening at those time frames. But just remember, every day starts at 00 hours. So if you're in Eastern Standard Time Zone, the 4 o'clock candle is technically 9 p.m. And then the 8 o'clock candle is 1 a.m., right? This 12 o'clock candle is 5 a.m., 1600 candle is 9 a.m., 2000 is 1 p.m., and then 0 is 5 p.m. And it just keeps going on and on. And if you memorize that, like especially like for instance, if you're a New York trader, then you're really looking at that 1600 candle. You're looking at that pretty often. That's the time you're going to be trading actively, is around this time. So look at all the moves that are happening at 1600 on your MT4. If that's the time you check your charts and you go back and you find every 1600, then you'll realize, moves are popping off. Things are happening, but I'm not paying attention to it. And like, I'm not trusting it. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to write that. That's different on the 1 hour.
The 1 hour, if we go to the 1 hour, same concept. Again, I just moved here less than 30 days ago, so keep in mind I had this super memorized for Mountain Time. Let's start here. So 0 o'clock is 5 o'clock Eastern Time, right? I know that in Mountain Time I traded the 1500 candle quite often. So I was looking for a breakout of the 1500 candle, which is this candle. And you guys will notice if you go back and just mark up every 1500 candle, like that's the time you're checking your charts. And that's about 6 a.m. my time, Mountain Time. That was before though. So, and you go back and test this, you'll realize that early New York, there's a lot of money to be made. You can easily find a move. Like seriously, almost every pair, almost every day. In that early morning New York time frame, you just have to be able to trade the breakout. So if it breaks out from that point and goes up, you're going to start buying. If it breaks out from this point and goes down, you're going to start selling. It's a great way to scalp in the same direction as the triple arrows. Like you won't often be wrong.
Okay, so, okay. I got the 4 hour.
Okay, sorry, I cannot help you with the 24 hours. I promise I will mess it up, and then I will confuse us both.
Okay. I'll take the 4 hour that you gave me.
Yeah, there you go. And then I'll have us both in a mess. But thank you for stepping up and talking.
All right, thank you, Jenny.
Yes. Simon, can you hear me better now? Well, hold on. Who's that talking?
It was DJ. I'll wait for Simon to go.
Oh, I don't think he was talking, but I think I was just making sure he could hear me, which is stupid if he can't hear me, he can't hear me say that. Hold on. Can somebody help him in the chat? Hopefully that'll help. But either way, so Diana will join in a bit. Awesome. We got Alex said if you go down to the 1 hour, you'll catch the pullback. So, and I think I've gotten really good at trading real confidently and less stress. So right here, this has to retest about 50% of that candle. So you have a really good chance of not 100%, granted, but if it tests about 50% of that candle, or maybe hits this other high before it goes back up, you get a good 20 pips. So, not to say it definitely will happen. We'd want a crossover. Momentum is high like that. Yeah, not quite ready, and it's not a big enough move for it to count, but it's definitely good. Hey, Kumar.
Hey,
Okay.
Jenny, can we look at a pair?
Yep, go ahead.
I just entered GJ for the sell on the 4 hour for a Stairmaster. I just want your analysis on it.
The GBP is selling again hard. It's selling. So you see how price busted through these yellow dots? Let's see. I don't like that. You have to refresh your chart to fix it. It's weird. So on a Stairmaster, which way? Because the 4 hour is saying buy, right? Oh, sorry, the 1 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour.
Yeah, I was on the 4 hour.
There we go. So the 4 hour is saying buy still. I thought that was the case, but it's okay. And again, I think this is definitely coming back down to here. And on GBP, you have a lot of pips you can get out of it. But notice how it's going up already. So weeks ago, this was like 80 and 90. Now this week, it's 150. The volume is coming back into the market, guys. I think you can get 50 to 70 pips out of it.
Okay. Yeah, I took it for I took it for a sell on my charts. It has the resistance dots, the red dots on there, 4 hour.
I think that I just deleted them when I was trying to delete that line. Honestly, let's see. 4 hour. Oh, I did that wrong. Silly me. Sorry. See if I can do this again. Nope. I will move this. No, I done messed up. Better. There we go. It has these dots as a Stairmaster, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, a Stairmaster would be going in the same direction as the triple arrows, but I see what you see. Just so you know, I see what you see.
Because on the 4 hour, it doesn't have triple arrows yet. It just has 2, right?
2, that's right.
Yeah, so it's not valid triple arrows yet. So, I mean, I know the indicators on the 4 hour aren't exactly ready, but I really took my confirmation off the 15-minute because they had triple arrows going down. So I figured at least I could get about 15, 20 pips out of it before I reversed.
Well, I definitely think you'll get 20 pips out of it. I mean, very safely, but move your stop into profit. Like if you guys want to become successful traders, always move your stop into profit. Did you enter when this dot first appeared?
Really close to it. I'm up about at least 10 pips right now. I can't tell on my phone. It's just I know I'm in profit.
I'm thinking you can get at least another 30 pips out of there without even worrying.
Okay. Well, I'll probably just throw probably a 10 pip trailing stop on it.
You better make it 20. That's GBP, and it's GBP JPY, so make it 20.
Okay.
Well, you can catch more of the move, so that's a good play. I mean, it's against the daily dots, against the big arrow, but you're right. It's still technically trending down, and we have our impulse candle saying this is wanting to buy, but until we have some massive confirmation, GBPs are all still selling. It's just not ready yet, so that was a good play.
Thanks, Jenny.
You are welcome. Any other questions or comments? Let's see.
Hey, Jenny, this is Alex.
Hey, Alex, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Great. Yeah, it's my first time participating and actually talking, but
oh, well, thank you for stepping up. See, that makes it so much more fun.
I know, right? And we're in the same time zone because I'm in the Orlando area, so.
Oh, really? I'm going to be there on Friday, so.
Oh, nice.
Sure.
Yep, good weather. But anywho, I just wanted to go back to what I was saying about the AU to USD 1 hour. I took a trade based off of the fact that we had the big arrow going down on the 1 hour. That's the 4 hour, but we had it going down on the 1 hour. And when I saw the two arrows next to each other, the purple and yellow one going down, I went ahead and took that trade going down.
Okay.
And grabbed like almost 50 pips on that. And I exited when I saw the other two arrows going the other way. But I didn't take the arrows going up because there's no big arrow along with it, so there's no triple arrows. Do you think that means it's going to keep going down now because there's no triple arrows going up on the 1 hour? That's the part I'm kind of confused about because, you know, the 4 hour is saying something different, saying it's going to go up, possibly.
Sorry, I was like thank you. I was like the queen of taking the 1 hour trades. Actually, that's where I started. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But I, for the most part, don't go against the 4 hour anymore, only because, again, it's way safer for me. So, like, is this a safe trade? Yes. And is this probably going to come back down? Yeah. I mean, do I know if this is going to reset and bust through? I don't know for sure. As you can kind of see, we're hanging out in the middle zone of this average daily high, average daily low. And we have a multitude of news coming out. So given that level of information, like, this could pop off either direction. So it could make maybe a news candle can spike it lower, create our triple arrow, and then bring it up to follow our 4 arrow buy. So, but right now we have sellers trying to regain control. Our momentum is going down. We're looking like a crossover on the MACD. Like, so this looks like it might sell for a little while. But the overall Like, it depends on how you want to trade. So if you're just going for that first quick pips, yeah, this may or may not set up. But even if it does set up, I wouldn't expect it to go super, super far, with the exception of the news. Because as you can see on the right here, this is not a fast mover. So even if it came back and retested this, which would not reset the triple arrows, that's 50 pips. We would have to make a lower low to reset the triple arrows. I mean, for this to go away, we need to make a lower low. So, because of the way it's programmed.
So that it might actually erase that triple arrow, previous triple arrow, and
Yeah.
maybe it got lucky.
Yeah, so it could reset, and it's going to be above this, and then this one's going to reset over here somewhere. But this is a news play, so because of all the news, like, we don't really know what we don't know yet. So I like this engulfing candle to the upside. I definitely think we're going to have a retracement by some amount. With the exception of the news, I would definitely consider this a very high quality trade. The only thing that makes it not is the news for me. Because I want to trade safe. I don't want to trade super stressful. I don't want to, like, hey, can somebody help the people in the chat who can't find the sound? If you guys please can. All you have to do is, well, I can't really tell you, but if you can't hear me, all you have to do is sign back out, sign back in, and make sure you click join audio via internet or join via phone. It's super simple, guys. I know you guys are going to get better as you guys get good at Zoom. So, but to answer your question, that's 1,000% up to you. I don't like it for the sell right now, not for a long-term sell. I'm not fully enough confirmed, and, like, I don't want to be the person who has to, like, know when the news is coming out and kind of plan my day around whether or not Trump is going to speak or what news events are coming out this week. I don't want to plan my day around checking everything. Like, I want to be able to pick a few times where I check the trades and then maybe get a life. Like, go out of the house and do other things and see people and be where the people are. Go to the beach, go get a tan, do some yoga. So somebody's got a cricket. I think it's Sue. Sue, are you on a trail? Sue. Hold on, I'll mute her, guys. Sue. I'm muting you, Sue, only because we love to hear the sound of the cricket, but some of us are trying to hear me too, other than the cricket. So, sorry. There we go. Sorry. Well, sometimes y'all's names pop up when you start to talk or when y'all got background noise. So I get to know who it is, but sometimes I don't. So, okay, back to the chat. Anything else specifically? Awesome, I'm glad. So just clicking through the charts, like, until somebody wants to step up. There are a few pairs that I'm looking at kind of lots. I'm in Euro Mexican. I'm in a few of the Euro pairs. Okay, so for Brent, who asked about the white and yellow dots, the white and yellow dots are just two different versions of the daily dots, and I was kind of deciding which ones I like better, and I can't decide. They both have a malfunction. Well, they both work really well, but both of them have a malfunction that I don't like, and I don't know which one I don't like more. So for now, I stick with the original version. I believe that the original version is better than the version 3 of the SuperEZ SR. I just think it repaints less, and I think that it resets less. So the white ones were the newest version. They're SuperEZ SR version 3, and I don't prefer those. So that's what we're looking at on that. I hope that helps. And to get my chart like yours, it's the same thing. I just do pretty colors because I'm a girl, and I like purple and green. It's very biblical, and gold, purple, and green are the most common colors mentioned in the Bible. And then this one just is so I can see the difference in color. White is pure, obviously. ADX is a free indicator on every MT4. Settings are pretty simple. I've got a video on that on my YouTube. MACD is one that I actually added to the group. It's called MACD True. It's just the way it's programmed works really well. There is another version that has the colors on the mountains, or on the volume more accurately. Although I like this one, it's just kind of clean for me. This was a free indicator on MT4, but I'm sure as soon as they had enough downloads, they started to make it paid. So not super worth buying. I highly recommend against buying indicators on MT4 platform because typically there is no customer service. Like, if you don't like it or if you have a question, most of the time you can't get any help, and then you just get stuck with something that may or may not look cool but may or may not work right. So that's why. I'm using the first version of the SuperEZ. I think that they work better. I don't like the way that the second version repaints, but this one right here doesn't move as quickly, which may seem like a downside, but it also keeps me out of like trying to enter these other trades over here. So I guess it all depends on how you want to trade. If I'm going to be trading with the trend, so my colors got a little lighter since I reset my chart, but you guys understand the drill. Like, so right now we're on odd CAD 4 hour. We all know the odd's going to have a pullback. It's the strongest currency right now. It's going to definitely have a pullback. Whether or not it's a permanent one, we don't know. But you guys can see just visually, we broke the trend line, we retested it, and now we're waiting for this big push. There's not a lot of news on this, but CAD is typically highly affected by that US oil news. So again, I've got a new 8 and 8 crossover. Volume is above the 40. My MACD is coming above the 0 line. This is a buy I want to take. Like, this is what a trade that I want to take. And I'm actually in this trade because right from give or take this candle or this candle on my live account. And the reason why is because I only had a crossover on my MACD and not quite over the 0 line, but as you guys can see, we had volume up. But what else I had at that very moment, and I'll try to make it bigger, so this is a live trade that I am in, is give or take, I don't know if it was this candle, let's see, or this candle, it's one of those two. But either way, it crossed, it broke and closed above the 8 moving average. Okay, it closed above the 18 moving average. And at this time, we had that nice wide kind of open spread in terms of the positive and negative DI, so the buyers and the sellers. And our momentum was pushing well above the 25 line, which is what I want to see. So I had enough confirmations right here with my triple arrows, daily dots, 4-hour resistance. I do think we're going to try to probably hit this. Hopefully it doesn't come back down, but we'll see if it busts through it or not. It may or may not have enough momentum to do so. But again, I'm not looking to make 80 pips every second of the day. I'm looking to make my, consistent, I haven't decided yet for the challenge if I want to do 50 pips or like 70 pips because most of my trades are good for a lot more than a few pips. But either way, I'm really content with my, I know for sure I'll get 80 pips. I mean, without a struggle. I mean, I can get 80 pips out of this, no problem. And that'll be my biggest position. We're going to pay attention to the average daily range. And then I want a runner. I don't want you guys to do that in terms of the challenge because I don't want you guys to have a lot of trouble kind of managing trades. But I don't care if this takes a day or if this takes a week. Like, you guys can get your 50 pips and then take another trade, get 50 pips, take another trade, get 50 pips. But for my lifestyle currently, like, I'm okay with the way I'm trading. So it works really well. That's what I would want to see. So OddCAD is on my list. It's an active trade I'm in this week. You're welcome, Brett. Let's see, let's keep going here. This is just a demo account, so I think that's my little guy coming on in here. Hold on one second, guys. Yes, baby, come here. I can't read that from here. Sorry, 1 second. I'll be like a love song. It was his first day of school, so kind of exciting, guys. This is really uppity school, though. They're very strict. My daughter was like, oh my gosh, they don't let kids wear shorts, which it's Florida, so I can understand the need to wear shorts. Like, it's Florida, you guys. They got to be able to wear shorts. Seriously. Anyway, so I don't like odd NZD, as you guys know. I don't like the way it moves. But again, same thing on most of the odd pairs. I prefer the odd CAD. Currently, CAD is going to kind of bust, is getting really strong. I'm sure that's going to change when when the U.S. news comes out. But similar concept with Odd Chef. This one's better in terms of the fact that the currency strength is perfect, but now our momentum is facing down. So that's kind of what I don't like about this. As soon as this momentum gets back above the 40, preferably, if you're a new trader, keep it above the 40, because then you're only going to catch this move. If you're a more experienced trader, you can keep it above the 25, because then you'll be able to catch just accurate moves, 50 pips, half of the average daily range. You can do that super well. Crossover. And if you're a new trader, again, if it's below the 0 line on the MACD, only look for sells. If it's above the 0 line on the MACD, only look for buys. And that's if you want to be super accurate, that's one of the best ways to do it. It takes patience, And if you're a more advanced trader, obviously you can trade when it crosses over here. But again, that just depends on how you want to trade. This has got a double bottom, a W formation, so this is also a trade I am in. 1500 candle Eastern time, I believe, is, you guys are going to call me out. I haven't really been trading. I haven't been scalping the markets in the morning. That's when I did my scalping, if you guys want the truth, was the 1500 candle. But since I've moved, I haven't played with that too much because I just didn't have a bunch of time. So this is the 1500 candle. Well, that's the 1600. The 1500 candle, when this closes, that was 6 a.m. Mountain time. So this closed at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I could be mistaken. I don't want to be inaccurate. I'm pretty confident I'm right. Sorry, that's my MT4 going off. Saying there's an alert on Euro Chef. So, but yes, this would be 8 a.m. You guys would be surprised if you just looked at the chart at that exact time and caught the next candle. So whatever the chart is telling you at that time, if you have enough confirmations to catch it, you can catch this move. And on this strategy, there's not enough confirmations. But on other strategies, like for instance, a fractal breakout, along with the currency strength indicator, you would have caught this move. Because as soon as it broke this, you would have been able to buy it straight up. This broke the zero, you bought it straight up. And you'd only be going for like 10 to 20 pips, not a whole bunch. So even if you were late to the party and waited till after the 50, you definitely got your pips out of it without any problem. So that's how I would do my scalping, is that candle right there. Because it's consistent, and then I'm not like a slave to the computer. I'm not a slave to somebody else's schedule. So, but again, I like this pair right here in general. You're welcome, Kumar. All my confirmations are on the 4-hour for swing trading, and I don't look at other time frames anymore. I used to could. I used to look at all the other time frames, and then I would confuse myself and I'd wait. Now I'm only looking on the 4-hour. I don't have a lot of hesitation. I can trade it pretty effectively with high levels of accuracy. I think on this account right now I'm at 98%, so I went up a whole percent in the last month. But I honestly think that had more to do with the fact that I didn't have time to mess up and overtrade. And I was like, whoa, because to increase a percentage on a year-long account is hard, you guys. It's not like going up a percent on something you've traded this month. To increase your percentage on an account you've traded for an entire year, I mean, you have to have a remarkable difference. So I increased by an entire percentage on my accuracy in maybe about 40 some odd days. I don't want to be super exact. So, Kumar, you're having luck with the flip-flop method? Can you talk right now? Oh, I wish you could talk, but way to go. I've got several messages in my inbox, guys, saying, hey, I've been doing the 4-hour, I've been doing the flip-flop in the exact way you taught me, and I've done this, or I've doubled my account, or I did a whole bunch. Like several people hit some insane numbers. Like several people just made life-changing levels of money. So the flip-flop method is in the archive. Irving originally had a strategy that was kind of similar, but then him and I put our heads together and we kind of we had to touch it up a little bit because his way was still overbought, oversold. And then we kind of put our heads together. And honestly, it's a strategy that kind of comes from what they call the bounce back in IML, which has some of the highest accuracy ratios ever, but they use it on the day chart. So the flip-flop method, I'm pretty sure I have on here. Let's go to the chart window. New chart window. Flip-flop and triple arrows. No. Let's just go to just the flip-flop. So the flip-flop would look something like this. I like my MACD, and we would have the RSI on here too. I don't on this chart, but that's okay. So you would use this on a small time frame. If it's a fast mover, you can do it on the 5, but better on the 15. It just depends on your level of accuracy and time and patience. So you could use the moving average whole or the moving average crosses. They're pretty comparable. I like them both for different reasons, but because I was very mobile, I wanted something that could be consistent between my screen time and my phone time. So what I did was I put it back on the moving average crossovers for my phone, and I really loved it. So, but same concept when the parabolic stars flip, okay, your ADX is confirmed, your RSI is above 50. We don't trade overbought, oversold. There's no such thing because this would have been overbought 20 times and it still went a billion pips. So, well, not for this pair, but it went a lot of pips. So, and you're only going for 10 pips. You want to only trade low spread pairs. You only want to do this on a low spread broker. And it's reasonably accurate, especially if you use any indicator that gives you currency strength, then you'll be super on top of it. So you'll notice that to catch this move, just to catch 10 pips, especially with a low spread broker, and if you don't have one of those, you can message me and I'll send it to you. It's very, very easy. One of the best ways is to wait till after the 50, but as you can see, that's going to be a lot of waiting. So if it comes back up and retests the 50 and then you get confirmations, you can sell it again. But in terms of buying it, your safest bet is to wait till it breaks the 50. And that's the safest one. You can do the early entry, which is the 8 and 18 cross with everything else lined up, meaning the RSI set at 10 is above the 50. Your MACD has a crossover. The ADX has a crossover. 8 and 18 crossover, parabolic stars flip, and you can take it for 10 pips. That's your fast entry. Your slow entry would be this breaks the 0 line on your MACD. You have a crossover and volume is higher on your ADX. Crossover the 8 and 18 and parabolic stars, and it's broke the 50. So that would be your slower entry, which has slightly more accuracy, but as you can see, there's going to be a lot less of them that kind of set up. So that's that whole strategy in a nutshell. It's not super complicated. You don't even necessarily have to worry about the trend. If you do go with the trend, you're going to have more success. So like if the trend is going down, then you'd only go to the 15-minute chart looking for a sell. But it's the same concept. It's super doable. It's not at all complex. But this is just for somebody who maybe has more time and they want to play with it. Not everybody has that kind of time or they don't want to do it. But you have to remember that with, let's just round it to 12 or 13 pips. With the 12 or 13 pip trades, compounding it, I think it's 40 some odd %, you can turn a $100 to $200 account into $1 million in like 24 trades. That's going to take 100% accuracy, which is very unlikely, especially for new people. But if you kind of lessen that a little bit, so instead of trying to do it in 24 trades, you try to do it in like 35 or 40 trades, all you're really risking is a $100 account. So even if you blew a $100 account a few times, it's still, in my opinion, super worth it to have done it. Only going for 10, 12 pips. And if you have the time to, for instance, let's say you took this trade, okay, you would have entered here. And let's say you have the time to keep watching it. So it hit your 10 pips pretty easily. Well, way over here, it hit your 10 pips. But let's say you have the time to stay in it. You decide to stay in it until it closes below your moving average whole or your 8 moving average if you're using the crossover, which I kind of prefer better, I think, right now, only because my eyes got used to it again. Although I still love my money tree string line. You can stay in it for this whole time. So now you've effectively taken more pips, and that more pips is going to help you make up for that one loss you might have. So if you can sometimes hold that trade for a little bit longer because maybe you had time today, obviously you're going to keep moving your stop loss up every chance you get. And then the few times where you do catch more than 10 or 12 pips, it will hopefully balance out the one time you lost. And it'll kind of just help with the times that the pairs weren't worth exactly $10 per pip, which is what, every pip is not a USD, isn't all worth $10 per pip. Some are worth more, but most are worth less. So you guys know.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Elliot, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. How you doing in Florida?
Wonderful. It's getting hot now. It's hot. It felt like 100 degrees. We went out kayaking on the St. John yesterday, so my legs are all tan. Hot.
I always thought Florida was Spanish for very hot weather.
I don't know. I kind of love it, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's getting hot now, but I love it.
That's great.
Yes, how can I help you?
I don't have a specific pair to look at, but a lot of the things, everything that you say, I'm really aligned with. I like the 4-hour chart. I like the 8 and 18 and the arrows and the dots and all those things. But I'm finding that I really like to be rule-based, to have all the confirmations. But somehow with me, anytime somebody talks about playing a pullback or the Heiken Ashi or all these other things, it just sort of freaks me out. Like I'm trying to develop from all the information that you guys have given me, just a very simple plan. I don't want to watch the charts all day, but I can Yeah, and I know when the times are in California for my 4-hour candles. I can, and I have been coming back and looking. I start with the 6 o'clock candle. 6 o'clock is the candle in California. So could you speak to that a little bit?
Okay, so rules. Look, guys, I started doing paid for coaching, so I stopped doing free coaching. So now that I'm doing that, I've got a template of stuff I'm honestly not quite done with. I'm going to get out a bunch of free tools and to manage trade managers and stuff. When I'm working with some of these clients who have now officially, several of them have hit 6 figures, okay? And I am not like, I didn't go to school for economics. I literally just got good at rules. So now that you have that disclaimer, okay, all I'm going to do with you right here in this call, and all I do with them is pretty simple. I take a look at their chart, okay? And I say, okay, so this, for instance, some of them like TDI, or maybe some of them like, one guy liked the 368 or something, some weird moving average, like for his own reasons and his own personal whatever. And if he likes that, great for him. So maybe you have something on your chart that I don't know about, and that's fine. So let's pretend like you have 2 things on your chart that I don't know about, and then you have similar things on your chart that I do. So all we're going to do together is we're going to say, okay, so you want to trade off the 4-hour. Gotcha. Now we're going to say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, my count these fast. 7, 8, 9, 10, technically 11, 12 if we're going to go off of the volume 2. So we have 12 plus a momentum candle. So a candle like this would be 13. A break of a trend line would be 14. So on this chart right here, we have approximately 14 confirmations, right? So having said that, all we're going to do is, okay, so how many of those confirmations do we need to hit before we're going to take this trade? And some people might say 8, and some people might say, I want 12. Some people say, no, I want 14. And for those people, I say, well, that's not very likely. So let's go a little lower. Let's say you need 13 or 14. And that's all I'm going to do. So the same thing I'm telling you right now is the same thing I will tell them. And they took that information and they literally have changed it to 6 figures. So having said that, like, here's the deal. Whatever your chart is set up on, and I can't dictate that, I haven't seen it. But I can tell you, hey, Elliot, I can hear your background doggy or kiddo in the background. He's adorable. Sorry, just so I can finish telling you what I'm saying. All we're going to do together is say, okay, so we're not going to enter that trade until you have 13 out of 14 confirmations. And you can literally print up a checklist, take it to Kinko's or Staples or the UPS store and get it laminated, okay? And then literally, don't take the trade until you can, marker board off each one of those trades, okay? Let's see. There we go. And that's all we're going to do. And when you do that for a week or 2, usually we're going to be able to tweak at least one thing together. And I promise you, if you stick to that one thing, just get really good at that one thing, you will have made money by the end of this month. Like, you will have made actual measurable money, like enough to buy at least a used car, or depending on what you're starting with, pay off a debt, and to do something in life, a measurable amount of money. Do you think that that's something you can do, create rules of that magnitude?
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
Okay, so let's see them. So make your rules. You can send them to me via Messenger. Like, you can send them to me on the Telegram or whatever.
Oh, okay. I'm on my phone right now, so I'll just have to make a list.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't expect you to do it right now. Like, I'm just saying you can do this, but just create rules, and then obviously you're going to want some other rules, such as, do you trade for news? Do you stop trading on Sundays? All that other stuff. And then stick with that, okay? Does that help, Kenny?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Just one quick question. I know I heard that, well, sometimes it shows if you have a really strong candle and it breaks the 50 on the 4-hour, it can be an indication that, hey, we might be starting this move now. So I kind of added that to my rules. So until it breaks it, I don't get into it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So, like, everyone thinks that I'm missing the move, but here's the deal. Like, yes, you missed this, but you also missed a week worth of consolidation. What you ended up with, if you honestly waited for it to break and had all the confirmations line up, is a clean-cut move with very little drawdown and no drama. Like,
right.
So over here, this is not ideal, this is not pretty, this is not perfect. Yes, this is the faster entry, which I teach you guys all the time. This one's faster, and there's nothing wrong with that, but just know the risk. This one's better. So if you waited till here, even on this one, not ideal, not a fast mover again, but you would have got safe pips without too much drama, with less drama. Let me just put it that way.
Right. I love that. I love less drama.
Okay. So do so. Then do it. You can do it. I promise.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. I hope that answered your question. I'm not sure if I did or not, but just rules are easy. You can do it. But you got to create them for you is the point of what I was trying to say. Maybe I didn't say that. So, okay, a couple people have their hand raised. Whoever, let me see who has it first. Everett, are you available to talk? Everett, are you there?
Yeah, it's super loud here.
Hey, Damon. Let's see. Hey, guy, I can hear you, but like barely. Can you try to talk into the phone, Everett? Hey, guy, can go ahead, try again. I'm so sorry, I can't hear you. If you type it in the chat, I'll do my best to answer it, okay? I'm gonna go on to the next person. Ian?
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, how's it going?
Outstanding. First off, I just want to say thanks. Based on our conversation last Wednesday and just trying to come up with some rules for myself to stick to. Because I had previously traded a demo account down from $1,000 to just around $200, but just on trades I've placed since yesterday, I'm now up over 300. So I'm like, okay, hey, that's kind of all right. That's kind of all right. But to my question, a little bit ago, you counted up, potentially 14 different confirmations. Can you show me on your chart right now, like what is it you use for confirmations? I mean, because I know some of them, but like up on the actual chart, like I saw you counting some things, but I couldn't tell exactly what you were counting. Like it was a downward trend.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at this current pair. I think this is a good pair to buy. We are officially making higher highs. We're on CAD CHF. The only thing we have to worry about is that U.S. crude oil news coming out. But this looks like a good buy, and here's why. I'm waiting, obviously, for my confirmation. So just because I say it's a good buy doesn't mean like I'm going to take it yet. Again, I'm a really protective trader. Like I'm really good at that. So here are the things we're looking for. And then depending on how you count them, I'm also going to say this. It's okay if you add certain things to your triple arrow system. Like people are getting famous off of using the cloud with the triple arrow system. Like that's fantastic. Right. If you have an indicator you like, let's just pretend that's on here too. And if you see it good, it's good for you. I don't have to love it. You do. So right. Here on my chart currently, we have our buyers and our sellers crossover line as a crossover. So now saying we're buying it.
Right. Yes.
One. And this is how I would count it personally. Now coming over the zero would count as 2 confirmations for me. Okay?
Okay.
So notice how this happens way back here, but we're still not above the 0 yet.
Gotcha.
So that would be 2. Like, so if I'm using a currency meter for this strategy, that would be 3, having a crossover. And for this particular indicator, I really like it when it's spread below the 40 and above the 60. Okay, and that's something good happening because it's not like this like tickle me Elmo kind of stuff. It's open, we're ready. So now we're at 3, okay. If we had the RSI, which I typically have on this chart above the 50, that would count as 4, but we don't have it here, so we're gonna leave it out. So
you said, was that the RSI you said?
Yeah, so the RSI being above 50. So like if it's above the 50, it counts as a buy. If it's below the 50, it counts as a sell. We only use the RSI for trend. We don't want to use it as overbought and oversold. Most newbies make that mistake and they lose a lot of money in the process. Okay? Yeah,
I think because you hear that all over the internet that it's overbought and oversold, but I never quite understood if it says relative strength index. So that means, at least in my head, if it's over the 50, well, it's strong buy and below the 50, strong sell. But I could be wrong.
Well, no, think about it. Hey guys, listen, if life worked that way, our Ford motor cars would still be like, $2,000, because then cars would have been overbought and oversold, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. Nope.
Sure.
Our Ford cars are still, they're 30,000 and 40,000, and in 10 years they're going to be 50,000. And so, it's real life. There's no such thing. So your house didn't just get cheaper because all of a sudden the market, it fluctuates, but not in that manner. So, okay, so we're still at 3. Ready? We've got our crossover is 1, a break of the 0 is 2, crossover is 3. Now, in terms of the ADX, again, I would count this as 2 confirmations. Okay, so in order for me to count it once, and this is not ready, so I can't use that as an example, I got to come back here. Okay, and this one's obviously too perfect, but we're going to use it anyways. So when my seller's line crosses above my buyer's line and the momentum is above the 25, which happens here. Do you see where my arrow is?
Yes, I do.
It counts as 4 for me. So that's my next confirmation. If my seller's line is above my buyer's line and we break above the 40, that counts as 5. Okay? So that's how I trade these indicators. Because
Gotcha.
they have totally different confluence. So as of right now, just our oscillators alone, we have 5. Typically, we would either have the profit, we would either have, hold on, I'll show you what else we'd have. We'd have this right here as in there too, or we'd have our RSI in there. But for right now, we're not going to talk about it, so we're going to keep what's on our chart. Oscillators alone, we have 5. Okay? Now we have our big arrow and 2 other arrows, so that's 3, 1, 2, 3. So now we have 8 confirmations, right?
Okay.
We have daily dots, which is now 9, and 4-hour dots, which is 10, right?
Okay.
We have a crossover of our 8 and 18, and or our money tree string line if you're using that indicator instead. Very comparable location, just depends on personal preference.
Gotcha.
Okay. So this is 11. We have a break of the 50, which would be 12. Okay.
Okay.
So far. And then I have taught you guys and like the clients that I've worked with that look, we're going to add 2 more because I promise you these 2 more are going to be your make and break. Number 13 would be, did it break the trend line? So in this case, this broke the trend line, right? So all you would do is find 2 points on the chart, 1, 2, run it through. It's kind of how they teach you, at least in IML, right?
Right.
So that would be up here, 1, 2. So you have at least 2 or more touches, running through. And if price broke that, preferably retested it, and it definitely retested. Right? So that would be 13.
Okay.
14 would be an engulfing candle, a momentum candle, or a powerful candle.
Gotcha.
Okay? We can even add, I mean, I can go on and on. Like, I can give you guys so many confirmations that you'll be blue in the face. But the only thing is did your confirmations help you take a winning trade, and or did it avoid you from taking a losing one? Like, when you're looking for a new indicator or to add on something or take away something, the questions you need to ask yourself is, did this help me take the winning trade, or did it avoid me taking the losing trade? And most of the time at this point, the only indicators I care about are the ones that stop me from taking a losing trade, because we already have enough that tell us how to take the winners, right? We know that. But now what piece of evidence is going to tell us not to take this loser right here? This, I'm stuck in the middle. And the ADX is usually the thing that helps me the most.
Okay.
Avoiding the ADX and or the MACD in terms of avoiding the awful trade, that helps me the most. This currency strength indicator doesn't even do that either. So it just depends on how you see the charts. And we can say this one has a double bottom, so we can add candle confirmations or candlestick patterns to that, which would be 15. I mean, which would be a harmonic. This probably has a harmonic pattern on it right now. It definitely has a harmonic pattern, but either way, so you can keep going, but those are the 14 on this chart currently to stay relevant here.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm trying to train my eyes to like be able to look for all of these, and I find that on because on these particular charts and the broker charts. I mean, because I'm looking at it like you look at it. whereas when I started off in like a trading view chart. So it's just like I'm seeing a lot more. So I'm just trying to, so I still kind of flip between the two, just to, so I can see the bigger picture and then kind of look at where I'm at on this chart, because this I place my trades on my Hugo's Way chart. So I'm just trying to train my eyes to be able to like see and learn like everything that you guys are seeing.
Well, no, definitely. And look, you can look at a super simple chart. So let's go to the same pair. Hold on, CAD CHF chart window. Like, this is pretty naked. This is just your ADX, your daily dots, and an 8 and 18 crossover.
Sure.
Like, what you'll realize is you can get very comparable results with very less stuff, provided you take them at 100%. So 100% of 5 indicators is just as good, if they're good indicators, as 12 out of 15 of other indicators. So, and go back and test this. This is your daily dot, your 8 and 18 cross. Okay, and only care about it if this is above the 40. You can even maybe make it the 35, because then you're never going to take the awful trade. So you'd miss this one. Yep.
Okay.
But go back and just take a look at some of the most simple things, whatever your eyes see the best. Let's see. So this doesn't really peak off, okay? And even then, if you did decide to take a super late entry because you trusted it, you still got enough pips out of it. I mean, because you would have had an entire day to move your stop into profit. But
Gotcha.
if you do this properly, I promise you can do it. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really trying to spend my time trying to learn this swing trading thing, because I still do work at 9 to 5. So I can't sit up all day and look at the charts. I get into the charts in the evening. So I'm just trying to really, spend my time with the 4-hour chart and just, learn to read that. And I use the other charts just for any kind of confirmation. And, I'm, trying to go from there and just see what I can, what I can make of this.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you can. So you work, what time zone are you in?
Eastern Standard. I'm in New York.
Okay, awesome. So what time do you go to work in the morning?
I leave my house at 6:15 in the morning.
Ooh, wow. That New York traffic, huh?
Yeah, I usually get into work for like 7:15. So yeah, I leave here pretty early.
Wow, okay. Do you have any time throughout the day to check your charts or no?
To check my chart. Well, I don't have my laptop with me. I can get into Trading View from work, because that's just online. But I don't have my laptop because I'd have to download software to my job, computer, and I can't do that. So I'd have to bring my laptop with me. I mean, I could do that.
Okay, but you can check. So you can check the 5 o'clock candle, the 5 a.m. candle, New York time, right?
Yes.
Can you carve out like 30 minutes? I mean, 30 minutes for now, 15 minutes once you get better. Can you carve out 30 minutes in the morning?
Yes.
Okay, so if you just check your charts at that 5 a.m. candle, if, for instance, so let's take this move right here. If price closed below the 50 and below the 8 and 18, if the momentum is coming up, and you can't be too picky. It's like that concept, beggars can't be choosy. Like,
Right.
if you're only going to be checking the charts at that time, and I'm guessing you have New York traffic on your way back, so you're not home for the 5 p.m. candle, is that right?
Yeah, I'm making it home just after that. Yeah.
So, I mean, you can check again once in the evening, but odds are you'll be checking at that 9 p.m. candle, which isn't super advantageous if you're trading Euro or GBP pairs, because oftentimes London session does some crazy things.
Right.
If your main staple is going to be, and it's possible, I know people who have high levels of success doing this, but just be exact. So if, for instance, this is your 6 o'clock candle, well, that's the 2000. Let's go to an actual one. 4 a.m. Oh, wait, 2000. I'm going to do this right. So this one right here, I'm going to draw a line on it, is your 1600 candle. So
Okay.
It closed, and that's what time you look at the chart. And somebody in the group has an indicator. You might want to ask in the group. I probably can find it maybe. That will literally draw a line on whatever candle time you type in, which is kind of nice for back testing.
Okay.
Close below, that wick kind of scared you. You can't see it because it's behind the line. You see sellers are in control. Momentum is breaking above the 25. This is definitely, you know, they're gaining control. CAD is stronger, or whatever. CAD is weaker, and CHF is stronger. And now we're breaking below the zero. You take this, and no, I wouldn't recommend going for 20 or 30% because you can't manage it effectively enough.
Right.
But you can effectively go for 10% a trade and hold it. So do at least a 1 to 1 or a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. And I promise you, like if you have enough of your confirmations, you're going to be shocked at how many entries. So again, let's go to the next 1600 candle, which would be right here. So you're still in the seller's market. You made a lower low, right? I don't like that doji per se. That would have scared me. But we also have everything lining up to confirm this is still a sell. So you took another sell. This is not a fast mover, and I promise you, you got your 50 pips out of it. And same thing. This is one pair, one time. Similar concept. This is not the best looking trade per se. I definitely don't like it. Not until I want some winding over here, but either way, we can do this over and over again. This is consolidating, so that's awful, but it's kind of similar concept. You took this for 50 pips. I don't even need to measure it via the call just to show you.
Sure.
I mean, this one's kind of awful, but we showed you, I did measure this one, I think, and I said, look, you would have still got your pips because you would have came home and been able to move your stop loss and then profit. So from like your lunch break at work, you can always make a profit, and that's what I would do.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I hope that helps. I mean, it's possible. Just know what you're doing and know what your purpose is.
Yeah, no. Look, I mean, the purpose is to learn how to make this, my living. To be able to walk away from the 9 to 5 and be able to spend time with my wife, my kids, and be able to do more for my community. So that's what it comes down to for me. So this is it. I don't want to do anything else.
Well, then maybe get good at holding trades, which is harder and it's scary. But
Sure.
because you can't be present for the 10,000 moves per week, but you can guarantee to be present for 5 to 10 of them.
Absolutely.
What you would do is you would take this entry as an example with a 10% gain. So that's like the compounding size you would use based off of 100. And the idea would be you'd let it run. So you'd have like a 50 pip stop loss. 100
I'm sorry, by 10%, gain, are you saying that, just, I mean, if like I got a $300 account right now, just try to make $30? Is that what you're saying?
In theory, yes. So
Okay.
Yes. But when I say a 10% gain, look, if you guys are trading and you're just doing 0.5s and you're just doing 0.3s and you're just doing standards and you're never advancing your lot size, all you're doing is gambling. And honestly, I got offended when people told me that because I was starting to make some money. I was starting to do good, right? To be honest, and people were like, if you're not doing this, then you're just playing. If you're not doing this, then you're just gambling. And I'm going to be honest with you when I say I got a little offended, well, then what do they know, right?
Sure.
I'm doing good. I'm withdrawing over here. You guys don't even know, right? Having said that, they were right and I was wrong. Until I started compounding. So when I say 10%, I mean every trade you take, you're going up a lot size. And I have a worksheet in the group that will help you calculate your lot size. And I even have a video on it. But if you compound every trade 10%, you only need X amount of trades to hit 6 figures. And if you did that, for instance, let's say it took you 2 months because you don't have a lot of time. For some of us, we can do it in a month. But let's say it took you 2 months. 2 months, and then let's say you messed up 6 other months of the year. But then you did another month, another 2 months it took you. You're still making $200,000 a year.
I could live off of that, yeah.
Even in New York, are you sure you don't want more? New York's expensive.
Well, the plan is I'm leaving New York in 6 months, so it's okay.
Okay, awesome. Where are you gonna go?
After I get married, I'm getting married to my beautiful fiance that I can't wait to be her husband in February. And she lives down in Maryland. Probably 2 to 3 years after that, we're heading to Florida.
Okay, well, I'm going to hold you to that you were out of New York in 6 months and marrying your beautiful lady.
Oh, that's, yeah, look, God is my witness. There's nothing in heaven and hell stopping me from that.
Okay, to make it happen. That means you got to make this work for you.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's ideally. I'd like to be able to get to the point, and I'm not trying to rush it. If it takes me 2 years to learn how to do this, then that's fine. But as soon as I can, just be at home and doing this and being able to, because she works a ton of hours, so if I can be at home to, help her out more around there and, just so that she doesn't have to worry about so many responsibilities, then that would be awesome for me.
Well, I love you guys' experience. It's kind of inspiring. I probably will do that. Thank you.
No, thank you.
I totally do. I'm a super advocate for love, so let's make it work, okay?
Nah, she is my beautiful woman of God. I can't wait.
Oh, you guys are so cute. Okay, I'm
Thank
gonna go
you.
on to the next person, but make your rules and just trade at that time, and let yours be runners because of your time frame. So
Yes, thank you.
you're welcome. All right, there are some other people with their hands raised. Everett, let's see. Can you talk now?
Yeah, you want to try it again?
Oh, I barely hear you. Go ahead and ask your question. Everett, are you there? Okay, DJ, you have a question?
Hey, Jenny. It's not really a question. I just wanted to clarify the last trade I took. I got confused. I was trying multiple strategies today. This actually was a non-later I did with GBPJPY, and so that's why it wasn't confirmed fully on the 4 hour. I just wanted to make sure that was clear since this is a live call.
Oh, yeah, everything we say is recorded and can will be used against in the court of law. No, we're good. I
Yeah.
promise.
Well, yeah, I mean, but on that trade, I mean, my first take profit did close with 25 pips, and right now it's 43 pips in the profit, and I do got that 20 pip trailing stop on it. So
That's
just wanted
awesome.
to clarify.
No, you're good. Like, I trusted your judgment. Like, I know that you're growing and you're constantly on these calls, and I definitely still trending down. Like I said, this engulfing candle is super appealing for the buy, but it's not ready. We all know it's not ready. Well, anybody who's like trades long term, they know it's not ready. It's still just playing. So you took a sell right in the direction that it's going. You're good.
All right, cool. Just wanted to clarify. Thanks.
You're welcome. I get it. Sometimes I second guess the things I say, and I'm like, oh man, someone's gonna message me in like 2 months and ask me something about something I said 3 months ago, and I don't know what I had for breakfast last week, so we're in trouble. Like seriously, we're in deep trouble. But then I just kind of got over it and realized that like all I can be is the best version of me, and tell you we all evolve, we all grow. Like I advance in the way I see things. There are some things that I'm taking a lot more seriously, like my ADX, I'm taking it super seriously. Like I'm not playing with that at all because I started having some amazing results just trading less and making sure I was only taking the ones that were ready. And I tell you what, like, so I'm seeing it different than I did last year, which is what I'm supposed to do. So as you advance, you're supposed to trade easier. It's supposed to get easier, not harder. So in theory anyway. So you guys know the euro pairs are selling, right? With this broke below the 50. I don't like the odd news that's kind of coming out, but again, we have a lot of confirmations here to sell. We have our momentum is up. We are breaking below the zero right now. Only thing that's not advantageous is the 2 pieces of news. So like if you wanted to do a 5% risk on trades that have news, that's what I started to do on one account is I'm only taking, and I trade with real money because it's psychologically more effective to me. So like on one account right now, I'm taking any trade that I like the setups, no matter what the news says, but I'm only risking 5% of the account because it's only a few $100. I think I started it with less than $200, but I want to see how effective it is because I'm almost pretty positive that the news is in general irrelevant. Like statistically, I think that it's not going to matter as much as we think it does. But I'm going to wait till I have 3 to 4 months of data to even discuss it. So, and to see where that account grows to. Because I think that. All right, Anthony, do you have a question? DJ, do you have a question? Or Alex? Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. When you were talking about compounding at a 10% level, were you talking about like each trade that you take additional to the one you have open, you add 10% to the lot size, or were you talking about like you're risking 10% of your entire balance on each trade I wasn't sure about that, so I just kind of was wondering if you could clarify that point.
I think in short, like when I talk about compounding, here's what I mean. So I mean, like there's two different ways I've done it. One way is to compound per trade. So if I enter, for instance, we just looked at Euro odd, which I think is a good sell. But I can't take Euro odd because I'm in too many odd pairs. I'm already in two, so I can't take this one. But I do like it. It's a really good sell. So let's say I took this as a sell, and I'm going for 10% of my account, right? So I'm going to use X amount of a lot size for that. That means the next trade I'm going to use 10% of my account, but that lot size is going to be bigger because each trade I take is going to be a bigger lot size. Like, so every trade I'm compounding my account. So the first one is a standard, the next one is 1.5, the next one is 2, and the next one is 3, and the next one is 9, and then it goes so fast you're going to get super scared. So that's one way to compound. The other way I compounded was per week. So like all week long, if I took a trade, I would take it all at the same lot size. And then next week, if I took a trade, I took it all at the same lot size. And the following week, I took it all at the same lot size. But every week, I increased the size. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're increasing it because since your balance is increasing, you're able to, that 10% is now going to be
a larger amount.
A larger amount. Okay, I got it.
And I have a video on it, and I could probably make a better one, which I probably should do now that we're going to do this challenge. But I have a video on it, so you guys can totally watch that. It's on my YouTube, and I believe that one is even public. So just go on there and you'll see it. So, hey, Anthony, I don't know if you're eating chips or something, but I can hear you. Are you there?
Sorry.
Hey, how's it going? Are you eating, or is like your phone sliding around?
I got it front. Sorry about that.
No, you're okay. Thank you. We're going to pick on you guys. Okay, gotcha. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, just one, that does answer my question. But just a slight clarification on one point. Are you looking at your closed balance, or are you looking at your running balance?
That's a really good question. And in short, let's see, the only thing I care about is not my closed balance or my running balance. I don't care either way. What I do care about is my margin percentage. So like if my margin percent gets below 500, I'm not taking another trade. So like when I look at the balance size and I'm deciding my trade, I'm going off of I guess that does matter. I guess I'm going off the closed balance, how much is actively in my account, because that's what determines the account size. So yeah, that determines your margin level of availability. So it would be your closed balance. Because your open trades, even if they're all like $1 million in profit, they don't affect your margin as much as you think they do. They do, but in a less way, and I don't know how to say that accurately. So
500 is your lowest margin level.
Yep.
As far as free margin.
Yep.
But you're really looking at your balance, not your equity, which is kind of your running balance.
Yeah. So no, the equity doesn't really. So the amount that you're up on a trade, your equity, your running balances, your unclosed trades, they do impact your margin, your free margin, but not in the way we think. It's not dollar for dollar, and it's not percent per percent. So like I've talked to several brokers trying to figure that out, and I don't have a clear understanding of how that works, but it's a portion of your running balance goes towards your free margin, but not your full running balance goes towards your free margin. So when you're calculating your lot size, you need to use your actual balance, not your free balance, not your running balance.
I guess the reason I'm asking that is because on the 4 hour, you can have a trade open for well over a week, even 2 or 3 weeks, and you haven't closed it out yet. So, if you want to take like trend continuation trades, you're taking the same amount and you're not compounding as fast, but I guess you're gaining more pips because it's a 4 hour.
No, actually what you just said is 1,000%. I agree with you. So that is a big deal to me. So like what I just told the gentleman who was just on here talking about his lovely fiance, like For him, leaving it running is probably his best bet because his odds of catching another move this week are slimmer. So for instance, if he caught 4 perfect moves and they ran to their entirety, that's probably his current best case scenario because he lives in New York. He can't commit to enough times a day. And there's nothing wrong, but it's just a matter of, okay, so here's what we're working with. How do we make it work for us? So for him, it's probably best for him to let it run. But for like you and me, I don't know your schedule. I would rather take 50 pips, take 50 pips, take 50 pips, take 50 pips, because each one of these 50 pips, okay, this is not a fast mover, as you guys can see. This is not like some perfect example of perfection. This is just everyday trading. Even this very imperfect trade that had pullbacks, but my imperfect mouse is not working. Hold on. Sorry. Let me make sure. It's freezing up, sorry. But let's just say, there we go. This is definitely 200 pips. I don't know for sure how many it is, but there we go. 170. So let's say we only caught 3 of these. So let's be conservative. We only caught 50 pips 3 times. This was probably worth, I don't want to be mathematically inaccurate, but give or take at least 4 to 5 times as much as somebody who caught most of this move on 1 lot size. Because we caught it right here on a standard. We caught it on this on a standard and a half. On this, we caught it on 2 standards. So this one move to me was worth a lot more than it was to the person who has that nice number right here that says, hey, yo, I got 200 pips, woohoo. I'm like, hey, yo, I got 50 pips, but I got them with like 20 standards, so take that. See the difference? So I agree with you 1,000%. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I work remotely. I work a full-time job, but I'm here at home because I work in IT and I work remotely. So I have my laptop right next to me all day long. And I can sit there and I could basically do 15-minute, or I can do a 30 or an hour. But I run into trouble at night when I have to sleep. So that's the only thing that I found challenging is with the hourly or anything less than 4 hour, you really can't sleep with having stuff open. I just find that it's difficult to do it.
Yeah, I do too. I find that I lose sleep over my 1 hour trades all the time. So if you notice, when I say I do my scalping, I do it at 6 a.m. and that was Colorado time, so that would be like 4 a.m. here. And then I make sure all those are closed by the end of the day because I can't emotionally cope with that leverage, okay? I can't go to bed knowing that that was just a play and then I might be catching, like let's say I caught this nice little moment, woohoo, I was right. But like if something happened or my computer shut off or like all this emotional drama and then I can't sleep, I mean, it's a mess. So I agree with you. But the only problem is if you have the skill to be able to re-catch the same move. So this move is easy. We have a clean crossover, the 8 and 18. Everything is clean and pretty. But to catch this pullback, to catch this Stairmaster, it gets a lot choppier. It gets a lot messier. Like, so you'd have to wait for this to separate and for us to have confirmation. Like, you have to know how to trade the continuation. Like, for instance, if it made a lower low and everything is lining up, you take it again. And then right here, if it made a lower low, everything is lining up, take it again. So the only difficulty with doing that is somebody who knows how to trade the continuations. I mean, those are still the safest trades. They will always be the safest trades, and not because I said so. I don't care what billionaire or what VP Morgan or what, I don't care what your strategy is. I don't care how great, good, or bad it is. But this isn't a great pair to show you on, of course, but every one of these continuation trades are your safest trades. Trying to catch the reversal and the pullback are usually your least safe and least accurate trades. So, yes, sir. But does that answer your, yeah, sorry.
Yes, it does, totally. Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, guys, any other major questions, comments, all that good jazz?
Hello, Jenny. Hello.
Hey,
hello.
Yes, ma'am. We
Hi.
can. Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What were you saying about the RSI? If it's below 0, it's below 30, it's a sell, or if it's above 70, it's a buy, something like that?
No. So on the RSI, how I use the RSI is if it's above the 50, it's a buy. If it's below the 50, it's a sell.
Oh, okay. So how do you set it? Your RSI is what? You set it at what? 6, 7, 8?
Okay. So let's add it together. We're going to add oscillator. We're going to go down to relative strength indicator. I had mine set at 10. Apply to close.
Okay, okay.
This was
Okay.
a bit big, so I'm going to make it a little thinner. I'm going to go to levels. I'm going to even take this off. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete that. I'm only going to keep my 50 on there. And this is what it should look like. So if it's above this 50, we're only ever looking for buys. If it's below this 50, we're only looking for sells. That keeps you in the same direction as the trend. Like, that's the way to trade that.
Okay.
So there's sometimes where we'll come back up and kind of retest, like in that right there.
Uh-huh.
This isn't pretty, but it's the same concept, and this did eventually go up. But yeah, that's what you're looking for. So I have mine set at 10, just like I do by ADX, and there you go.
Okay.
Does that help?
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. All right, next question. Anybody else? Somebody in the group was saying that all the JPY pairs were going to sell. But this is looking like it's going to be a strong buy. So again, as you guys can see, as I flip through these charts, the odd pairs mostly are setting up. Our euro pairs are also setting up. Okay, so most of them were forming double bottoms. So now it's a matter of taking them, comparing them to news, looking for the best one. So which one has the most confirmations, and then take that trade. And you can take that trade for just one of the average daily range. You can take it for half of the average daily range. You can stack 2 positions, but whatever you decide, just take the trade, provided it meets enough of your confirmations. So you guys can make this super simple. Euro NZD still has a ways to drop. And on this one, we have a double top, not a double bottom. So, yep. Any other questions, comments, all that good jazz?
Hello, Jenny.
Hey, who's this?
This is Cleophas Brown. My question is that I've heard you say, you know, once you put the position on, you move your stop into profit. And I'm just kind of curious. I would think it would be different or relative for each pair. But generally speaking, you know, when you, you know, move your stop to profit and you let your runner run, I mean, what type of move are you waiting for to, how do you define profit?
Blue pips. So you're right. And I try to think about a way, because I kept getting a lot of questions to answer you effectively, but I don't have like a set, hey, I'm up 10 pips, so I move my stop loss into profit. I have a lifestyle that says, hey, if I'm home today, you know, I'm going to protect it just mildly. If I have to leave, I've got errands to run, okay, or I'm not going to be available this evening, I've got something with the children, then I'm not going to leave it just running. So let's take, again, this is kind of the perfect move in all fairness, but let's say I entered this move and it kind of pulled back right here on me. I mean, I don't know that I would have had my profit moved up at that point yet or not. Depends on what, if I was sleeping. Here, let's find out if I would have been asleep. Because on that 12 o'clock candle, I'd be asleep. So I'd be up for this candle. So I'd be up for this entire pullback. But let's say I took this trade around here. Like, I'm going to move my stop loss up. Like, once I'm up some pips, typically around 20 or 30 on most pairs. If it's a GBP pair, definitely I need to be up a little bit more. I want to move my stop loss up to protect my pips. Like, and that's kind of all a variable thing, because like it depends mostly on my schedule, in all fairness. But what I consider profit would be if and because we're going to do this challenge, I needed to have a set take profit, because that's what I would prefer for you guys. So for my set take profit, like I'm meaning between 60 and 80 pips, and I want my risk to reward to be the same. And if I'm in profit, my job is to to protect that profit, and then just to keep pushing it up. If I want to let it keep running, I can. That's totally up to me. Like, it just depends on how you want to trade. You have to decide that based off of your schedule and your availability. So like on this trade, if I was available for all this and I saw we broke past this previous low here, this high, we are now making higher highs, I would move my stop loss below that, because if price ever came back down to close below it, then my buy is no longer valid anyways, or it's definitely tested at least. So now I'm going to keep letting it ride. And at this point, it would have hit my take profit, which how I was doing it before was the max of like 77 pips plus a runner. So I think 70 pips, I think, is a really good obtainable take profit. It's not super hard to achieve. And even a trailing stop is up to you, because this right here would have knocked you out with trailing stop probably. Definitely. This definitely would have knocked you out with trailing stop. This one candle would have. And that's not a bad thing, because again, you closed in profit. But it just depends on how you want to trade and how much peace of mind you want and how much time freedom you want to have. So I can't really answer that. You have to decide those rules for your personal situation.
Thank you, Jenny.
You're welcome.
Jenny,
Yes.
this is Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
I have a question. When you're doing your determining what trade you're going to take, or what pairs you're going to use, and you often say that this is a slow runner, or this one's a quick runner. Which ones is it? Does it have to move more than 50 pips a day, or how do you determine that?
A minimum of 50 pips a day, but as you guys can see, most of this has been really low for summer. But if it trades 40, 50 pips a day, I really don't like messing with the ones that trade 40 pips a day.
Okay, I just learned that the other day. Okay, that's what I'm glad you said that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Some of them, and this is going to start picking up on all pairs. Most of them are going to be above 50 pips, but if it's only moving 40, 50 pips a day, it's a lot harder to hit my quota. So, does that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
You are
and
welcome.
also, when at the end of the day, when that spread widened, it just really knocked me out the other day when I sent you that screenshot.
Oh, was that on AFX?
Yes. No, it was Hugo's way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I didn't think, I know the AFX widens them, but I don't think they widen them that much. So because these are bigger spreads, they don't widen them as far, but what do I know? Every broker has their own little tweaks and stuff that they do. I couldn't possibly be able to know them all.
Sure.
But just be careful with that whole widening of the spreads. That's a thing. That's a real thing. So that's why I'm saying, it depends on what time of day. I don't want to give you guys a short answer of saying, hey, I always move my stop loss at this point, because the spread alone can take you out. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
You are welcome. Lawrence, your hand is raised. Lawrence, are you there? I think we might have lost him. His name disappeared.
No, Jenny, I'm here. I had to unmute myself. My bad. Okay. Can you look at AJ?
AJ?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to make sure I have the 10 pip and dip strategy down pat. So what I'm seeing is I have my I see the triple arrows in the area. I see I have the 818 cross, and my ADX is at the 40 line with the red pointing up, and I have my MACD crossover. So
I like this for a sell.
You said again? For a sell, yeah. So if I was doing a 10 pip and dip, would that be a good candidate for a 10 pip and dip strategy?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to play it super safe, I'd wait for, price action already crossed the 50, so is that it? Is that the process for the 10 pip and dip, basically?
This is it. So we're going below the zero. This is quick. So we have this nice pullback. You'd want to enter as soon as you could. This has got an ugly wick, so you might have some drawdown. But you do so. Let's see how many minutes are on this candle. You have 10 minutes on this candle. So let's see. This is still scalping, so kind of bear that in mind. What you see as a doji on the 15-minute chart?
Yeah, I see the doji. Yeah.
This is what we're looking at on the 5-minute chart. So literally, as soon as this turns purple, you can jump in. As soon as this turns to your sell color, jump in.
Okay.
And then just take it for 10 pips. I don't know exactly what our currency strengths are telling us, but just using this alone, it's super easy.
AD is relatively weak compared to JPY. JPY is strong right now.
Yep.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, that's all I wanted to make sure I understood the 10 pip and dip strategy just based on that. I like that strategy. It's simple and get in. In general, like if you're doing a 10 pip and dip, is there an ideal time to do it?
You need to get the volume app on your phone. Not the the time frame map. It's like golden hours, I think it's called, and it'll tell you what the most volume is. Quickly, most of the volume is in London. Most of us are sleeping for London. So your best bet is going to be that London, New York crossover, which is early morning U.S. time. You can easily get depending on how many trades your account can hold at once. So like if you're taking multiple trades at one time, then you would only be going for like 10 to 15%. If you're going to trade one pair at one time, and that means you don't enter another trade at the same time, you can do 30. Well, what broker are you using?
I have the AFX, but I also have Coinex.
Okay, so you could do like 30% on Coinex without blowing your account, one trade at a time. You can't hold it. You can't hold it over current the session crossovers, and you can't hold any more than one trade at a time. So you need to be pinpoint accuracy, and your chances of blowing a $100 account are high, but your chances of hitting six figures, and I want to say that before I say seven, because some of you guys haven't hit five figures yet. So I want to say something that's practical and reasonable to you guys. Is the idea of you being able to hit six figures in the next few months is high.
Okay.
It works. You just have to make sure you're taking the best entries. So if you can download like the dots, keep in mind, break below these dots, we're no longer looking for buys, we're only looking for sells. So if this comes up against this, we're only looking for buys.
So I still want the daily, the 4 hour dots or the daily dot on that chart.
Yeah, if you're doing this for the computer, I would add those for sure.
Okay.
For sure. And if you're taking it works really well. And keep in mind, like if this makes a lower low, you should sell now. Sell right now.
Okay.
It's just knocking below the 5, and you're losing pips as we speak. Let's see.
Yeah. I'm just demoing it, trying to test it out to make sure I get the strategy right. But so in general, put the daily dot or the 4 hour dot. Which dot would you put on there? If I'm on the 15-minute time frame.
Well, the one that's most relevant to that time frame would be the 1 hour and the 4 hour.
1 hour. Okay.
So like the daily dot, but keep in mind, people trade them as this guaranteed going to come up. I trade them as, hey, look at me levels. So like, for instance, if it breaks below or makes a higher high, so how do I say this? We're coming down, we come up here. They would have disappeared, so I can't even show you. So let's say there were green dots right here, and we made a lower low. I'm looking for it to continue selling. I'm looking for that to continue in that direction. And it would have done so. I definitely would have got my pips out of it. It's the same concept. So it's totally doable.
No, I got it. All right. Thank you. When y'all doing the challenge, like the rules for that?
I'm making up the rules now and the templates now. Pat has been kind of leaking some information. This is selling, guys. Having said that, we couldn't find a solution that would apply to everyone, because not everyone can be part of New York. Not everyone can be part of Asia. Not everyone is up for London. So having said that, not everyone's account can withhold a swing trade. So having said all these factors of how do we apply to all people, he does want to do a signals group. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but he kind of tickled on the topic, so I think I'm going to get away with mentioning that.
Okay.
I hope so. I might get smited tomorrow. No, not really. I'm just playing. Anyway, we're going to do a group. We know that much for sure. And this way it'll have where we entered, take profit, stop loss, and or we might leave the take profit open and say, okay, so you have to know how to manage these trades. So any trade that's given to you, you always move your stop loss up. Trading is 90% management, I promise you. Finding a winner is easy. Managing it's the hard part.
Yeah.
And then you're responsible for moving your stop loss up. You have the option to let it run. Like, so for instance, if it's my call and it stays below, so if we're selling it and it stays below the 8, you can keep selling it until it closes above it or until we find a new trade. So you don't have to exit it. You don't have to re-enter it. You can just hold that same position, because maybe on Wednesday there's a bunch of news and I don't want to play with news. So I don't send out a signal. Maybe on Thursday, I wanted to go to the mall, so you guys are still holding your guys' schedule, your sorry, I said schedules, your signals. So you don't have to pick a trade every day. I think we're going to go for a few trades a week, but high accuracy and a few trades a week from a few different people will give you guys a multitude to pick from. You don't have to take them all. In fact, you should not take them all. So.
Gotcha. And when do you think I'll start?
I was going for like this week, but he's got some like admin stuff. It's again, guys, it's his group. It's all up to him.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's up to him. But
Okay.
we're looking within the next few weeks. So it's going to be very, very soon. You guys are going to have like no notice.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't have a high leverage account and you want to compound this to 6-7 figures, make sure you get one right now. Make sure I have one. You can ask me for a link. I'll send it to you. If you don't have, and what I did was I started 6 accounts, each of them with $150 in them, but I have the freedom to do so. So as I grow, if I blow an account, cool, no problem, I'm on to the next one. Also, once I hit either $1,000 or $2,000, I typically withdraw an original deposit. So like, for instance, if I hit $2,000, I'm going to withdraw my $150. I'm going to put it into a new broker account ready to go. So now I've lost and gained nothing. So I'm trading with absolutely risk-free money, and I can grow it that way. And I have another account ready for me to either compound or do whatever I want to do with it. So that's kind of how I do it. But I'm on this. Like, it's my thing, so I'm pretty good at it. So, my runner position on AJ is 20 pips. Is that 20 pips? That's awesome, DJ. I know Brent, he said it in the Telegram, and he called me this morning, and he was like, so we're not going to say anything. Be careful with what you say. Let me think about it. Let us pray about it. Like, it was all loving and all good. And then, like, in the afternoon, he pops that off. I'm like, really? Seriously? So, anyways, that's all good stuff. I'm just playing with him, though. I got to pick on him sometimes. He's an awesome guy, and it's been a blessing to get a chance to work with him. AFX should always be ECN. The only time you really care about a fixed trading account, guys, is when you're trading news, because it doesn't fluctuate super high for a news trade. But typically, a fixed account for spreads will have higher overall spreads most of the time. And like at the end of the day, you'd be like making less. Who's over there entering trades, huh? Is it AJ? Because I can hear the sound. Somebody either trying to move a stop loss or their lot size was too big.
Yeah, AJ's moving, so.
Oh yeah, I gotta pick on you guys. All right, any other questions? I actually wanted to kind of click through the charts. I do want to start posting like a list of my top 14 trades every week and letting you guys get a chance to see, look, just pick a few of them. So I've got well over a year's worth of data that says worst case scenario, I've got 70% accuracy. So if you're a brand new newbie, you know very little, that these signals will be accurate over 70% of the time. When you add a currency strength indicator and some knowledge and some little bit more steadfast rules in terms of like that engulfing candle, break of the trend line or break of the 50. So when you add the super confirmed, super power kind of moves, your accuracy goes through the roof. Somebody is drawing. What is that? It's not even a thing. Whoever's drawing over there. It's not a thing. Who drew that on the screen? I don't even think I can delete it. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Good job, whoever deleted that. But either way, that's what we're looking at. I don't know what I was saying. Sorry, totally lost track. It's getting late though. But I do want you guys to see the bigger picture of just being able to pick a few trades and weekly compounding for yourselves. Because signals are great, but I've said this before, I'll say it again. I've taken some people's signals who were great traders and signals never really worked for me. So my idea is to maybe put on some music, talk about our lives and our beautiful fiancés or whatever else is going on in our lives, and kind of look for live trades together in the early New York session, as we call them. Or like if I do have a call or a trade that I want to make, I would drop a Zoom link in that whoever's free to hop on and kind of hang out. Cool, bring your barbecue or bring your glass of wine or your cup of coffee, whatever's your thing, and just come on up there. We'll maybe sometimes turn our cameras on and like actually be working together. So that's kind of the picture I have along with that signals channel, is this kind of really family close-knit thing where we're just hanging out and taking an active trade. So, but yep, that's kind of my goal. So New York is the best. Like I can take Asian trades, but I usually don't enter in Asia. And like the gentleman who was just saying, like, because if I put a 30% trade on at this time of night, I didn't get a chance to move my stop loss into profit. I'm going to be like waking up and then like I can't sleep and it's not fun. Yeah, Craig, you need to quit your job. Barbara, seriously, it's a lot of fun. So I've done that in some groups with some people I don't love as much. So I really want to do that in a group with people I do love and I do like. So I just think it's kind of fun, like to hang out and like get to know each other. We don't always have to talk charts. Like for instance, if I say, hey, I'm looking at Euro odd. Let's go back to that. And we're looking at this for the sell, I'm pretty sure. Might be wrong. But keep in mind, odd just had news, and now odd is kind of having this pullback right now. Was it the sell? I don't even remember. Oh, wrong. Now I'm over here making mistakes. But either way, if we're over here, somebody else would say, hey, no, on my currency meter, it says this, and I'd say, cool, share your screen. And yeah, it would be mostly appropriate music, not too many bad words, because like we want to be, don't get me wrong, I like some questionable songs, but most of them are good. Most of them are positive and uplifting, all different genres of music. So that's kind of the idea, is just to all be able to have all of our eyes looking at this and saying, okay, well, DJ says his little funky oscillator he loves is saying this. And so Barbara says, no, it hasn't broke the 50 on the 1 hour. So we're going to wait. We're going to wait for this pullback because we want a closest entry possible. And maybe one of you guys are really good at the 5 minutes. So like you're saying, okay, we're going to enter when this 5 minute candle says sell, or wait until that happens. And now we've got a team of things that are happening all at once, and that's kind of awesome. What would you use instead of the currency? So Brent, there's one that's called absolute currency indicator. It's kind of a mess to use, but that's the one that I had the most success with. It increased my accuracy the most. It's called absolute currency strength, and it was the original indicator I used before I found this one, and it's what made the most, numbers don't lie, feelings do. It's what made the most difference in terms of my accuracy. So looked it up on the marketplace. It works pretty good. And there's a bunch of versions. There's some free ones. There's of course that heat map on your phone. There's all kinds of them. So use what you can. So, all right, guys, is that it for tonight? Yay, nay?
Yeah, I guess so. But I will say that, yeah, you're saying that, some of us can make 6 figures in the next few months. I have a wedding to pay for, so yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay, I love your story, so I really want to help you pay for your wedding.
You got it. I'm in the challenge.
Okay, but you might have to like maybe have somebody hold a phone or something. So like your SuperEZ family can all attend your wedding, and like guys, if you really befriend a lot of us.
That actually would be awesome. I would love that.
I know that, honestly, like seriously, would be so awesome. And if you really befriend a lot of us, you could put us on a gift registry, and we can all like shower your love and celebrate your little union. So it's a win. Just saying.
You don't have to send me anything but your love, and if you could teach me how to do this business, trust me when I say that will be all the wedding present I need.
Oh,
that would be awesome. So thank you so much, Jen.
You are welcome. It was awesome getting to talk to you guys tonight.
And I did send you a direct message.
All right, awesome, guys. Hey, if I ever miss your direct message, just message me the next day, because that means you went somewhere down the bottom and I can't find you. You disappeared.
No problem.
I will definitely read it tonight. And let's see. What if I start with 400? Wanted to get to 2 million. Okay, hold on. Let me answer this question, then we'll get off. So Jezebel, listen up. So I think I messaged. You guys live in Florida. Listen, I've got a pool, and I hear you have kids, so that means you have to bring your kids over to my pool because I don't know anybody yet. Well, not enough people. I've met a few people. Let's see. A 7-figure challenge. If you wanted to start with $400. So I don't have my tablet. Hold on. Let's see. Maybe tomorrow night we'll pull up on my tablet like the actual challenge numbers. But here's the deal. If I start with $50 or if I start with 50,000, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. Like, so if your accuracy stinks, like, to be honest, most of our accuracy is mediocre at best, especially on a live call, especially under a lot of pressure. So here, if I had $400 and that's what I had, and I wanted to get to 2 million, hypothetically, of course, that's all hypothetical, I would still do that in literally 2 or 3 different accounts. So I do like 125 in 3 different accounts, for example. I split that up, or I'd put $200 in 2 different accounts. This way you have some room to grow, some room to blow it if necessary. Because if we're being honest, most of us blow off $100 on shoes we didn't need, Starbucks or whatever. We make mistakes and we spend money foolishly enough times. And I think that most of us who don't live in a third world country spend money very, very frequently if we actually like created a budget and like trimmed the fat in the budget. So several $200 accounts. So instead of having multiple accounts, just double up. You should never do that. I would not do that. So I'd rather have you have multiple accounts. And then like, for instance, because there's going to be several of us calling signals. This was kind of Pat's idea. My original idea has been changed a little. So, but again, guys, it's Pat's group. So there's going to be a couple of us giving you signals, which might mean anywhere from 5 to 20 trades a week. Now, the good thing is that means for some of you who maybe were asleep or at work and missed a signal, cool, you can catch the next one. The bad thing is some of you guys are going to try to overtrade and then say, well, I blew my account. Well, of course you blew your account. You took 20 trades, right? So in your case, maybe what would be a super good idea would be to take some of the trades that, again, they have to match your rules in one account, and the ones you didn't take in that account, you could take in the other account. Because the odds are you're going to have enough trades to take 2 different accounts worth without having to. So if your odd turned out to be wrong, for example, and it was a bad signal, and that was a losing signal, well, you only lost that in one account. You didn't lose it in both accounts. But I'm not going to risk. So I'm not going to risk both accounts, because when you say $400, it doesn't seem like much. So why would I risk my two $400 account? Well, my 2 accounts that are $200 each, $400 in total. I'm not going to risk $400. I want you to try to imagine when both of those accounts were like, one's at 23,000, one's at 27,000. And now you just put the same euro odd trade in both accounts. Let's say Trump talked, or there was news, or Australia had an earthquake, or something happened out of our control. Like, we are not going to give you 100% accuracy. I mean, every one of us has had 100% weeks, but most of us have never had, not provably. A lot of people talk it. That's why they all say, well, I don't use a stop loss. Notice how everyone who says they don't use a stop loss also doesn't have an FX book. And that's a little bit critical, but it's also honest. So until they can show me they've never used a stop loss and have my FX book that can prove that claim, I'm not buying it, because them saying, hey, I don't use a stop loss basically means you can't show where I got knocked out, or you can't see where I was wrong, because it means they were never wrong, even though, here, I'll show you on this chart. So let's say we tried to sell right here. Okay, technically this did turn into a sell, and technically it would be right. And technically their pitch would be good. But if, for instance, we sold here, okay, it didn't hit the take profit yet, and we came back up. Well, here, let me use a better example. We sold here, and first it came up, it wicked up because of whatever, the market makers and everything else. So if this went 150 pips against you, 170 pips against you, and then went 200 pips in your favor, they're still counting this trade a win, because they're saying they don't use a stop loss, which could be the case. But most people's accounts who are trading compounded trades can't hold multiple 200 trade, drawdown trades. So having said that, like, I don't know what I was saying. I wouldn't do that way. I would have 2 different accounts. I understand that managing them is hard. Like, managing is kind of hard. I get it, but still your best bet is to separate your money. So like I just said at the beginning of this call, I already have 6 accounts ready for this challenge. I again had planned on starting it a few weeks ago, or actually by this week at the latest was my deadline. But we're kind of waiting on some other things and the dashboard and some other things that he's working on. So, but either way, my idea would be to risk $100 12 times to guarantee you get 7 figures. Because you've got to think 2 million is 7 figures just as much as 1 million is 7 figures. 7 million is also 7 figures. So how much you continue to grow on that challenge is up to you. But you'll notice most brokers won't even allow you to trade over 999 lots. So once you get to that lot size, now you're stacking trades. And you're stacking literally, I'd have to show you on tomorrow night's call. Maybe we'll go over that and we'll record it separately. But you have to think that in order to compound at that level, now you're trading 3,000 to 4,000 lots, depending on what you started with and what percentage your growth was, and other disclaimers, obviously. But you're trading 3,000 to 4,000 lots per trade. And I don't know about you, but I'm not willing to risk, let's see, sorry, I'm not willing to risk that much. So if you have multiple icons running multiple instances, you can switch easily. Don't know what that's about, but okay. We're talking about 8 accounts, $2 each. It was just trying to see if I could manage easier by doubling up that way. Oh no, don't do 8 accounts. Well, 8 accounts. Can you talk right now? Talking about 8 accounts, $2 each, just to see if we can manage it easier. You can't manage that many trades. You can at first, but once you, like, at first it's easy, but wait till you have 50 standard lots on a trade. And now you're really trying to click between them all, and then you make mistakes. And if you're as human as me, then odds are you're going to make mistakes. So you guys are splitting them up. So you would run 4, and I believe it's Benny, right? Benny would run 4. Would you maybe consider just doing, let's not talking about 8 accounts, $200 each, $100. Would you maybe consider maybe just each of you have 2 accounts? Like, because if you each have 2 accounts, like that's enough. Because you can have your personal trading account, like the one that you should personally be learning to grow. Because you should totally be personally learning to trade. Like, this is still a skill I really pray that you guys learn. Yeah, so have a trading account for you and a trading account for him, where you guys take your individual trades by your own analysis, and then you can have a trading account for the signals group and a trading account for the signals group for each of you. But that's already 4, well, so 2 accounts each. I promise you, if you do that, oh, this is Benny, sorry, sorry. I promise you, if you do that, that's enough to manage. I even make tons of mistakes when I start trading actively in 5 different accounts. All of a sudden I forgot what I was doing. I didn't check an account. I make not trader mistakes, but stupid mistakes, like stupid people mistakes. Not even like, okay, I made this mistake, I learned from it, but this is like a, I should have known better mistake. So I think 2 each is enough. 1 that you trade in and 1's for the challenge. And that means you have to shut off your brain. You have to shut off every other whatever Telegram challenge and channel, and you have to really focus. So that's what I would do. Hope that helps. 2 each, $4 each? No. No. Listen, I want you guys to feel comfortable with blowing this account. So I want you to put at the most probably $200 in there. Like, if you're the kind of person who, between you and me, is sitting on $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in savings, then fine, you can play with $400. But for most of the people on this call who don't have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in savings, don't play with $400 because you're not there yet. If you don't own a house or you have a bunch of debt, don't play with $400, not yet. Because look, you're not going to get all offended if you blow 100. But if you have no savings, don't own a house, have a ton of debt, you're going to be real upset about blowing $400. So, you're welcome, Derek. I appreciate you. All right, cool. Well, I hope that answers your question. Tomorrow night, remind me, and we'll go over that tomorrow, okay? But okay, I want to go kiss my kiddos goodnight and give them a little bit of sugar before going to bed. I super appreciate and love talking to each and every one of you. Sorry we didn't click through more trades, but we kind of got to talking, and that's okay because I love talking to you guys.
That's awesome. Good night, Jenny.
Good night, guys. Sweet dreams.
Thanks,
I hope you guys have an amazing day.
Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sweet dreams.
Good night.